Hello everyone, welcome to Farming Simulator 25. This is not going to be a normal one of my, gameplay episodes. We're looking at weeds today. This is something people have made plenty of videos about weeding and hoeing and spraying, but there's something I haven't noticed in any of their videos, and that's weeding before they even grow. And I don't know, maybe it's the easier way to do it. Why spend money on a whole bunch of herbicide or um, wait until the crop is even growing to take care of your weeds. So you might be able to do it cheaper. So let's jump down to the field here and I'll show you what we have to begin with. We're doing sorghum for this test. I don't know if it really matters what crop it is, but I feel like doing sorghum. So it is at a yield bonus of 95%, 100% fertilized. You can see it says weeds growing, needs rolling. I'm not going to bother with rolling. But just for the, what we started with, the field was already 100% fertilized. I cultivated it with this guy, which is nice, this disc arrow. Then I planted the sorghum with this planter with no fertilizer because it was already 100% fertilization. So that's how it was put in. And to get a baseline, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go in and shut weeds off. And because I also want to check something with herbicide. And so I'm going to move us forward to harvest with weeds off. And we'll harvest it and that's our baseline yield. Theoretically, it should be the same. Right now, where we are at, the game is saved. So I'll just keep reloading to this point. Hopefully, I think if I just go in and turn weeds off, the weeds growing should disappear, I would hope. So let me do that real quick. I might as well show you all the other stuff going on with the settings right now. Not that it really matters too much for a lot of this, but we're doing seasonal growth off and to know just to get through, not have to worry about what month it is specifically. You know what? I'm gonna just change this just so we don't end up with weird weather. We're in August, so we'll stay in August. Snow's off. Crop destruction's on. I turned off plowing and fieldstone. Lime's not going to matter for this test because I'm going to keep reloading to the same point. Obviously, weeds are on right now. Visuals only for disasters. The rest of it doesn't really matter, I don't believe, for this test. So anyways, let's switch weeds to off and see what happens to this field. Okay, so our growing disappeared. So what I'm going to do now is I will forward us, was it 4 months, I think, for sorghum to grow. So I will forward us through the 4 months, and I will be back with you. All right, we are back. It is now December. Not that it would be accurate for the actual growing seasons, but again, seasonal growth is no. So it's the 4 months. We are ready to harvest. And you see the info box. I have one of the extended info displays, so it gives you your potential harvest quantity and all of that stuff. A little bit extra than the normal info box, but most of the rest of it's all the other stuff's going to be the same. So we will harvest this with our what is this guy? Case axial flow 7150. The 28-foot header, I think it is. Yeah, I'm not going to make you sit through me harvesting the whole field. But yeah, we'll be back. You think I can't destroy his canola, huh? Yeah, so we will be back with you pretty much when we're finishing this up, and we will see what our total yield is. I also don't know if this is all going to fit in here, if we're going to have to go get a trailer. So we'll see what happens, right? Do our steering assist too. So yeah, back with you when we're finishing up here. Alright, we are just finishing up the harvest of the kind of baseline for this field of sorghum. And this is with the weeds turned off. I did have to go get a trailer. Yeah, so I overshot a little bit. Auger arm's a little bit longer than I thought it would be. Alright, so top out of there. Oh, by the way, this is the regular, simple, Farm Tech trailer, but I changed the colors, the base colors, to metallic, and just has a totally different feel. Anyways, okay, so it is giving us a yield of, let me get a piece of paper here so I can write all this down. 12,159 liters. So that's our baseline with no weeds, weeds off, whatever you want to say, is 1,200, yeah, 12,000. Numbers are hard, 159 liters. So yeah, let me reload the save game, and this time I'll probably just buy the trailer and then save it real quick so we have that in the save game. So I will reload this, and then we'll move on to the testing. All right, loaded back in. We're back to our baseline state with the 100% fertilization, 95% yield bonus. Weeds are back on. Weeds are growing. And you can see we have our trailer there now. And I got front weights for the tractors because I like front weights. Yeah, so we will be doing, I guess, the next part of the test, which I think I'll just let the weeds grow wild. And we will see what happens. I think it's supposed to be a 15% loss yield. But yeah, we will go into back to the 4-month, back to December, to harvest with no weed treatment whatsoever. All right, so we are back here with our ready to harvest crop of sorghum. And yeah, it has large weeds in it. And the yield bonus, at least where the weeds are, is 75%. So it's a 20% hit where the weeds are. So, yeah, we will get to harvesting this, I guess. I got large weeds in this canola too. I don't know if there were weeds in there on the last test run. You gotta be careful not to drive in there. This is actually take 2 of this segment because I accidentally drove into the crop. And I have crop destruction on. Because it seems more legit that way. So I gotta be careful when I start my what you call it, cruise control, that I don't accidentally lift the header and drive into the crop. So I will come back in when we have finished harvesting this, and we will see what our yield is. Alright, so we are almost done, and I can tell there's definitely a loss in the yield. I got way further with the combine before I had to unload this time than I did on the control. So we will get this unloaded. I also noticed there's like a liter of loss because the combine filled up at 10,570 liters. There's only 10,569 in the trailer now, and it did that same thing on the control. And I've noticed it in other gameplay as well. So I don't know what the deal is there, but there seems to be a liter disappearing. So we're gonna just finish up this bit here and see what we have, and then maybe do some math. I don't like doing math anymore, but we will take a look at it anyways. So that is that. Let's get this over to the trailer to get our total. So that's saying 11,300. Yeah, 11,300 liters. So let me put that in over here. Yeah. Let me, I'm gonna do the math, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I didn't actually do math. I used a calculator. Website, anyways. It's saying it's just over, I mean, it's like 7 point ridiculous decimals, 0.0, whatever. So 7% decrease is what that's saying. So, yeah, that would probably be a pretty substantial amount on a much larger field. So do your weeding, however you feel like doing it. But let's move on with some different testing and see what we got. Okay, we are back in our field. So for this test, what I did is I've gone the 1 day, 1 month, whatever you want to call it, to the first growth stage. And we're going to use, this is what most people seem to do for their weeding and everything, and they take care of it. And I think, especially if you're using a weeder or the hoe, and I think most people will only use the herbicide if they tend to leave it too long. But yeah, we're gonna try some weeders and such on this real quick. Now, first growth stage, I should be able to use this tractor with regular tires without doing any crop destruction. That's not what I want to do. All right, give me the weeder, please. Thank you. All right. So get our steering assist on. And so the end test for this that I'm going to do as far as this particular thing is I will do a harvest. But I'm probably not going to bother showing that right now. I just want to see if these devices are going to function in this field as is. Okay, so this is the smallest weeder in the base game. first growth stage of the crop. I'm not doing any crop destruction with the standard tires on this tractor. Let's go into our map here. Let's turn all that off. We only care about weeds. So, yeah. I don't know why there's all those lines in it. I don't know if that has something to do with the planter. But I do know, I guess if you drive over the weeds, it does kill them off at a certain point. So, anyways, this little guy is working. So, we'll pop this guy off real quick. Hold it up. It's going to end up defaulting right back to where it originally was in the next test anyways when I reload, so. Oh boy. That's not good. So I don't tend to use the regular little weeders. I did use one in my Lapinky series, and this is kind of where I got the idea to do this video, because I haven't seen other people doing this. So we're just going to use this other one. This is kind of the next size up as far as weeders go. So in the store, usually everything is somehow organized smaller to larger until you start hitting mods that you've installed. So the first one is the little weeder we just used, and then there's the hoe, the Pottinger hoe, and then there's this guy. This also will seed grass, oilseed radish, and canola, in case you want to know that. So I just want to see if this bigger one is going to do the same thing for me and pull out those weeds. So these are only small weeds, according to what it's showing. So that seems to be working pretty well. So I'll pull over here real quick and drop that guy off, and we'll look at the map. Yeah, it's cleared them out. So I do like to use this hoe because it will do small and medium weeds. So if you end up getting medium weeds, this works for small and medium. So let's unfold here. Get some steering assist lines. Now this should definitely work. Yep, and this is fast too. That's why I like it. Sure, you can get weeders with a wider working width, but this thing cruises. It just feels so much better deleting weeds at that speed. So yeah, that's that. Now I don't think there's any sort of other than removing weeds, I don't think there's any sort of state difference that leaves as far as changing any sort of aspect in the field. So what I'll do is I'm going to finish up with this method of weeding, and I will move us forward and do the harvest, and then I will be back with you. We are just wrapping up harvest for testing using the weeders and hoe during the first growth stage of our crop. So I expect this to be the same as the baseline. There could be a very small variation just in case there was a, maybe I missed something here. There could just be a slight variation that the game puts in there. A little bit of a randomizer. So yeah, we're unloaded. It's saying 12,153 on that. Let's see what it says when I get in here. 12,154. So it's possible I missed a little nugget somewhere. But I'd say that's close enough. Don't think I did any destruction. I think it'd be a significant difference if I did any crop destruction. Because it's, what are we, 12 what? 12,154 compared to 12,159 for the baseline. That's 5 liters. I'd say that's statistically insignificant. Yeah. So, why do I feel like there's something over in the corner here I missed? Just kind of look like it, but it may just be the way the field looks. Yeah, it's just the way the field looks. I don't know, there could be one little plant I missed somewhere. Somehow. Or like I said, it's just some variation. It's a little bit random. I could check the map, see if there's anything on here. Nah, it must just be some slight variation. Yeah, so I love how there's weeds growing immediately after harvest as well. So if you leave this, there's going to be weeds in here again. Alright, so, yeah, we're going to reload back to baseline and start the next test. Okay, we are back in our field. This time for this test, we are 2 growth stages in. It's October, we planted in August. You can see the plants are a little bit bigger, and we have medium weeds. So we will take a look and see what happens here. I don't know if I should do... Let me put that sprayer down. I'm going to use this tractor with the narrow wheels this time. And I don't know if I'm going to do a harvest test on this, because I just don't think this is going to work anyways. But I just want to test these out. These theoretically should not work. My guess in real life is you might actually do crop damage. Line up here. Drop it down. And it appears to be doing nothing. So I'm just going to honestly assume that the larger weeder is not going to work. But we will try the hoe. Because the hoe would theoretically work on medium weeds. But it should only be the first growth stage, so this shouldn't work. Look at that weeder did to the actual grass though. I noticed this in my Pinky series. Took the grass down. Nope, I didn't mean to shut the tractor off. So that also appears to be doing nothing. We'll just double check on the map here. Yeah, no effect at all. So since those didn't do anything, I'm not really worried about it having had an effect. And yeah, so I think what we'll try now is the sprayer. Oh, crashed into the That's bruising. It's terrible. So let's try this out. I don't use sprayers a lot. I forgot what size I picked on this one. I think it's 30 feet. Meters? 30 meters? Oh yeah, there it is. Nothing. Oh boy. Will I get under the header? Nope. Well, I don't know why they bother putting that middle line in there, because I'm pretty sure just doing these two headland sides will do the whole thing. Alright, let me back up a little bit so it'll straighten out before we get moving. I want to get right to the edge because I'm trying to not waste any, because I also want to look at how much herbicide I use for this. We are full width, so we will start going, start spraying. And I'm not going to cut for now. This should be, I mean, it's 2 passes, I think. And we'll see how this goes. This isn't as satisfying because it just may leave dead weeds there. I kind of prefer deleting them. I don't know if I'll be able to make it all the way. I don't think I'm going to. So let me just shut that off there. And oh, I always turn the wrong way. Let's use that to straighten out. All right. Can't even hear the game in my headset here. All right, moved up here. Let's... I think part of it's because I'm so far away too. Start that and go. A little bit of waste there, overlapping, but it is what it is. And I'm going to stop this there. Oh, I kind of drove off, didn't I? I thought I had the thing on. I guess I didn't. All right, let's back this up to over here. Try to straighten out best we can here. Start our spraying. And this should take care of the whole field. Man, I guess 30 feet was kind of just the right choice. I wasn't even... I think there's one longer selection for this sprayer. Maybe it's 33 meters, 34 meters, something like that. So, yeah, basically just the... If I had more room on the other end, I would have just gone straight without worrying about that short end. Shut it off, hold it up. So we were at 4,000 liters to start. We used 250 liters. So, let me just note that down, 250 liters of herbicide. All right, so if you go beyond your first growth stage, then you're gonna have to use the herbicide. The other stuff doesn't work. The weeders in the hoe. So interesting. This is yield bonus. It's going between 95 and 85%. That is a very interesting thing. All right, well, I will bring us back in December when it's time to harvest this, and we'll see what we got. I guess I am harvesting. We are back in. It is grown, ready to be harvested. It's still doing the bounce between 95 and 85%. So we will jump in the combine. And once again, I'll get this harvested. And I will be back with you to see where we're at. Here we are unloading on the harvest after using herbicide. So we'll just finish up the rest of this here. And we'll see what our total is. It is not going to be as good as the baseline for the use of the weeder and hoe in the first growth state. So I don't know if this is a result of the weeds themselves having been allowed to grow or the use of herbicide. I am not sure. So I might have to take a look into it. I might be able to actually test that with what I plan on doing. So before we get to that though, let's see how we did here total. So it's saying 11,726 there. 11,727. I don't know why there's always a liter disparity with stuff. So that is 11,727 liters. So I guess if it's not the herbicide itself that's causing the problem, at the very least, it's not taking care of the weeds right away. So, I mean, as of right now, take care of the weeds right away. That's the lesson so far. So let's reload again, and we'll get on with the experiment that I actually wanted to do. So yeah, I'll be right back with the fresh save game. All right, here we are back at our freshly planted sorghum field, and as you can see, the weed is the occasional growing status. So what I found, and hopefully it works, otherwise this is going to be a very pointless test. And I'm going to use this little guy at first. I don't know if I'll do the whole one with this, but I will explain. There are some issues with doing this. And that's a visual thing. So let's get some lines on. Oh, this thing's so narrow. So let me hop out again real quick. Yep, right at the field. Weed growing, weed growing, weed growing. So yeah, I'm just gonna do halfway for now. I'll stop right here. So you can see we've got weeds growing, and obviously it's going back and forth because there's a couple spots with nothing that we've seen before. But I'm gonna go over to this row. Nothing. Nothing at all. No weeds growing showing up. So I'm just going to run out to the end of the row here with this. So the visual problem is, other than your tire tracks, you cannot see where you've been. And I will show you that on the map too. So we'll go to our soil composition, weeds, nothing. So there's no growing status on the map, which is a little frustrating for doing it this way. But what I also want to try is, because I've only done this really with that, at least on my own fields, with that weeder, I think. So let me try this giant one. See if we get the same thing. So again, let me hop out while that's unfolding. Weed growing. Again, spotty, but it's still there. So this is going to be a little jank because it's not going to catch that corner quite right, but you know what, let me reverse, just get it over there properly so we get everything. Again, this is doing that thing with the grass too. That's crazy. Don't quite get what it's doing there. Alright, so go to about there for now. Jump out. Again, in front of the weeding device. Weed growing. Behind it. No weeds growing. So I'm just going to take this one out to the end here. I'm honestly just going to unhook and leave that there, because I'm going to try the hoe next. So, yeah. I kind of figured this out from watching, well, first of all, doing contracts for weeding and hoeing, because some of the fields are bare like this when you do those contracts. And it's definitely interesting. You know, I wasn't sure why. You know, I was like, well, what weeds are you taking care of? There's the field's blank. It's been, you know, planted or seeded, but there's, you know, there's no weeds. So, yeah, again, weeds growing. And so I was kind of curious about it. And I had also looked up this particular hoe. And I've done this with a few different machines and implements from the game because I wanted to know how a combine worked. So I looked it up and found videos. So I looked this up, and it showed it over kind of a just freshly planted field. And I'm probably going to butcher the description of how it works, but these spin and throw the seeds or tiny little, sprouted seeds of the roots back up out of the soil to the surface where they can be dried out by the sun. And I guess that's how it works. So, yeah, behind it, no growing weeds. So, yeah. And I would imagine the weeders operate a similar way, but instead of using the spinning little discs here, they are like just little metal wire prongs. So I am going to finish up this field. I'll use the hoe because I like it. And we'll be back when we're ready to move to growth, I guess. Alright, so we have used our weeders and hoes on the freshly planted field, essentially. So, you do your planting or seeding, and then you run your weeder or hoe across it. Yeah, so it's not showing weeds. So I am going to move us into December yet again to harvest time and see what we got. Okay, we are here in our sorghum field again. Feels like Groundhog Day. Yeah, so our potential harvest quantity is the same as the what it showed for the control. Kind of forgot to look at it on the other ones to see what it said, but yeah, that's looking pretty good right there. There's no weeds. We'll check the map. Yeah, there are no weeds. So I am going to get on with harvesting this again and see how it does. And then I will be back with you again. For you, it'll be a quick jump, maybe some sort of video transition. For me, it's going to be like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes or something. Alright, back again. Just finishing up here. Again, this is our test of weeding or hoeing immediately after planting or seeding. I mean, you probably remember that because it's only been a second for you, where it's been, whatever, like 10 minutes for me probably to harvest that. So let's see where we're at with our yield. They look pretty good. All right, 12,155 on that. What does it say on this? 12,156. So that is in line with our baseline. Our baseline test with weeds off was 12,159. This is 3 liters off. And it's 2 liters more than hoeing and weeding on the first growth stage. So, yeah. The next one I want to do is actually using the herbicide, same as this, immediately after planting or seeding. So I will be resetting back to the save game start again, and yeah, we'll try that out. We're finishing up spraying our, it's probably enough, our field here. I don't want to make this video too long, so I just cut right to finishing it up here. And let's go take a look at it real quick. Well, none of it says weeds growing. Still says 95% yield bonus. Let's move on to December. All right, it's December again. And this is showing 95% still. The prediction is still the same. So, yeah, let me get this harvested and see how it ends up. And again, now finishing up this harvest after spraying our herbicide immediately after planting. And let's see what we got. I think it's going to be about the same as baseline. So again, baseline on the test was 12,159 liters. All right, 12,154. It's right in line with it. So, yeah. Don't wait. That's really all I can come out with this, is don't wait to handle the weeds. Do it as quick as you can. So let me crunch some numbers real quick. And, I mean, for you it's going to be immediate, but yeah, I'll be back once I've looked at some stuff. All right, so what can we conclude from this little bit of testing so far? Take care of your weeds as soon as possible, as I said. It's, at least in this test, it seemed to be about a 7% yield loss with just letting the weeds grow. There was a yield loss after doing spraying of herbicide in the second growth phase. So there seemed to be no difference if we weeded or hoed during the first growth phase of the crop. We got about the same, and then doing either hoeing or weeding or spraying immediately after planting or seeding, there was no difference. You got, the baseline yield. Now, what I didn't test, and maybe I can do a follow-up, or if anybody else wants to do it, leave a comment below. That's spraying during the first growth phase. So, I don't know. I personally would prefer using the hoe or the weeders, because then you're not having to worry about an expendable thing like herbicide. So, because that's what, 2,400. How much is it? Where is it? There we go. Yeah, 2,400 for, what is that, 2,000 liters? That's what, 1,200 per per 1,000 liters. So that's $1.20 a liter. And I think I did my math wrong here. I used about 250 liters on that field both times. It was pretty close. It just depends how much overlap you do and if you're careful about turning it on and off and stuff. So, um, every time you spray a field of that size, and that's field 82 on Riverbend Springs. Yeah, the property size includes the trees there, so that's 3.54, but it's not 3.54. It is, according to the extended field info thing, 1.87 acre field area. Yeah, so that was, about $300 worth of herbicide every time you need to spray that field. Plus sprayers. The one I'm using is $74,000. The smallest weeder, it's only 6 meter working with, $6,500. So maybe it takes a little more time. The working speed is the same, I think. It's 7 miles an hour. Only these self-propelled ones are faster for working speed. It's 15. All these others are 7 mile an hour. So self-propelled, but look how much they cost. Liters, 7, 7. So they're all 7. Not great. The hoe, 12.4 meter working width at 15 miles an hour. That's how fast the self-propelled sprayers go. And you can just, $36,000. You can just keep using it over and over. You don't have to refill it. I don't think the maintenance matters on it, to be honest with you. It's not like a harvester or a header where you're going to lose yield when it's below a certain amount on the damage, or a tractor where it loses power. It at least seems to. So yeah, I personally would probably go with the hoe. And that's what I do most of the time if I'm playing with weeds on. That's what I've been using in my Zelanka series. And in my Lipinki series, I was using the smaller weeder because it's kind of a challenge where I'm using old or small equipment. I don't have a lot of money to be able to afford bigger equipment anyways, so that's the smallest one available base game, and I have not yet seen a mod of a smaller weeder. So for right now, that's what I've been using. And yeah. So hoe or weed right after planting or seeding. That's what I would say. If you're using just weeders and you wait for the first growth period, you might be kind of SOL because you may have medium weeds. And that only does small. So you need the hoe for medium, or you have to spray and pay a lot of money for a sprayer and keep buying herbicide. And if you're spraying after, at the very least, the second growth phase, you're losing yield because either the weeds, or I don't know if it's spraying the herbicide onto the plant when it's grown that far. That would require further testing. So, yeah. Choose the hoe. That's my opinion. Choose the hoe. Well, thanks for watching. Check out some of my other videos. Watch my Zelanka and Lipinki series. Check those out. And yeah. Hope to see you again sometime soon.